All right, what is going on, guys? UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Albazi is over, and I'm going to go on my full card post-fight reactions and thoughts. Starting off with the very first fight of the night, Jamie Lynn Horth versus Ivana Petrovic. I see a lot of people online saying that this was a robbery. So I went back, rewatched the fight. It was a close competitive fight. The one judge, I don't have the scorecard pulled up, but the one judge that scored all three rounds for Jamie Lynn Horth, completely living in a delusion. I scored, rounds 2 and 3 for Jamie Lynn Horth. The second round, she had that subbed. I don't know why they have no sub attempts locked in. She had that sub locked in for like a couple of minutes. And I understand, like, you're technically in bottom, but she has, in my opinion, I practice jiu-jitsu, so maybe I have a little bit of an advantage or bias. But when you have a sub locked in like that for so long, I mean, in my eyes, you're winning. That should be scoring for you. So I gave her rounds 2 and 3. I don't think it was a robbery. It was a close competitive fight, that's for sure. But that's how I saw the fight going. But definitely not all 3 rounds. She definitely did not win the first round. That's really all I have to say about that. Boring. Somewhat boring low-level women's MMA fight. Moving on. Chad Haliger versus Cody Gibson. You got Cody Gibson essentially dominating with the grappling all 3 rounds. Outstriking him when they were on the feet. Going for multiple sub attempts. He really had, when Chad Haliger got taken down, he really didn't have much to offer. Gibson would just flow with him. Like, if he would turtle up and get out of mount, then Gibson would just take the back. Or, if he would roll back over, he'd get in side control and get the mount. I mean, he would just float. He'd kind of just float with him and land ground and pound and control him. I mean, they're both kind of older guys. There's really not much to say about it. I mean, it's a clear-cut, clean win for Cody Gibson. Kind of how I thought it would go, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, don't really have much to say about that one. This one I do have some stuff to say about. Siri City. Now I can say it right after I heard the commentary team say his damn name. Siri City versus Garrett Armfield. This was an actual robbery. My phone just went off because I said his name. Thought I said Siri. Garrett Armfield, I thought clearly won this fight. I gave Garrett now the first round, very competitive, close round, but I thought Armfield landed the better shots, the better, cleaner, more damaging and impactful shots. So I scored the first round for Garrett Armfield. Second round, they were both going back and forth. The second round was crazy, but I thought City did the more damaging blows in the second round, and if I remember correctly, he had some sub attempts in the second round. I can't remember if it was the second or first round. He went for that. I think it was an anaconda or a darts choke. I can't remember which one. So I did score the second round for City. Going into the third round, because I went back and rewatched this fight just to make sure I wasn't unsure of anything when I'm watching it live. They were both landing good shots in the third round. Hard shots. But I thought Armfield was pressing the action more, doing better with the grappling, and landing the more impactful strikes in that third round. So I scored the first and third round for Garrett Armfield. Even in his post-fight, let me cover my phone up. Siri City said that stop it, damn thing, said he thought he lost the fight. So I really hope the UFC does right by Garrett Armfield and give some of the extra. Maybe they don't give him his full win purse. Maybe they give him half. Give him something. He needs something. He deserves something. He won that fight. This was a robbery. And I'm tired, even in the Horth fight, I think the rightful person won that fight, but I don't know what the judges are watching in some of these fights. Like, how are you scoring certain rounds for certain fighters? Like, it's mind-boggling to me. I don't understand it. You're literally taking, I have no clue what Garrett Armfield makes, but let's say he makes 12 and 12 or even 20 and 20. Getting that extra half of his purse is everything to these fighters that are on the prelims of these cards that don't make a lot of money. So these judges are robbing the fighters of their money. It's ridiculous. They need to get this problem solved badly. Moving on. Maybe I'll make a video about that. I don't know. Uh, fucking shit pick here for me. Alexander Romanov versus Rodrigo Nascimento. Nascimento's garbage. Essentially, Romanov had more than a minute of cardio, although it didn't look like he was huffing and puffing the whole time. But really just able to out-grapple him, especially in that first round. Got him and controlled him. Get up against the fence, taken down. When they were on the feet, Romanov was landing the better strikes. And he had Nascimento so worried about the takedowns that he was afraid to throw. And he was just trying to counter-strike Romanov. So he really couldn't get anything going, Nascimento that is. So pretty clear victory for Alexander Romanov, gets him back on the winning track. He did go the full 15 minutes, which was absolutely shocking and surprising to me. So maybe he's working on his cardio. I mean, he didn't really look like he was working on his cardio at all. But at least he went the whole 15 minutes. Nascimento's garbage. We're moving on. That I should have picked. I should have picked Romanov. This was a good fight. Jack Shore versus Yusuf Zalal. As I was watching this fight live, I was thinking to myself, why didn't I not pick Zalal via sub? I think his last couple fights he's won by submission. First round was pretty competitive, going back and forth. Or wait, am I thinking of a different fight? Am I smoking crack? No, I think I might be thinking of a different fight. I'm thinking of something else. Fuck, I can't remember this fight now. I just remember the finish. That's all I remember. I remember the first round. Jack Shore did land some good shots on Yusuf Zalal, but I thought Zalal edged. I thought he won the first round with his. I think he outgrappled him a little bit more and slightly landed the better shots. And then that second round, Shore's going in and just gets clobbed and dropped with a knee from Yusuf Zalal, and then he locks up the Darce choke to get the finish in this, like within a minute, the first round. Solid win by Yusuf Zalal. I would say maybe one more win and give him a top 15 opponent, honestly. Or, bing, bing. Well, I guess you can't see my mouse. This would be a good matchup. Yusuf Zalal versus Charles Jourdain, since Jourdain is now in the bantamweight division. We're going to move on to this fight. Charles Jourdain versus Victor Henry. Jourdain clearly wins the first round, wins his UFC bantamweight debut. He gets the gilly in the second round, as Dustin Poirier has attempted many times. Wow, I'm completely blanking this fight. Oh, I missed this fight. I actually did miss watching this fight. I did not get to watch this fight. I just saw the finish online, so I guess I really don't have much to say about it. But gets the gilly in the second round. Good for him. Good for him. I guess I don't got shit to say about it. Amin Zahabi versus Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz is done. I don't want to say, like, they're both older, but Zahabi has kind of started later in his life than Munoz. Pedro Munoz is never going to be top 15 again. He's probably going to be, you beat Pedro Munoz in your next fight, you could get a top 15 opponent. I don't know. Maybe we could take a quick look at Amin Zahabi. Excuse me. Maybe you could give him. I mean, yeah, he's on a good win streak. Hell, is he undefeated? He might be undefeated. Give him a top 15 opponent. Maybe we're up looking here. He's 12-2. Anyway, it was just a pretty clear win for Amin Zahabi. He was able to outstrike him, outgrapple him. Kind of how I thought the fight would end up going. If I'm being honest. Yeah, Pedro Munoz wasn't even a favorite. I saw a lot of people picking Pedro Munoz. He's not a bad fighter. He's pretty well-rounded all the way around, but Zahabi just able to land the better shots and implement his game plan better than Munoz could. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Moving on to this banger in the welterweight division, Mike Malott versus Trevin Giles. Giles coming down from middleweight. I don't know if this was his first fight at welterweight or not. I don't think it was. But outside of the first round was competitive. I think two judges gave it to Giles and one judge gave it to Malott. It was a pretty competitive first round. Really, you could go either way. But then after the first round 2 and 3 were not competitive whatsoever at all. Very clear from Mike Malott. He won rounds 2 and 3. I think I went ahead and gave Giles the first round, barely. But again, it's not outrageous if you had Mike Malott winning the first round. The story with a lot of the fighters on this card, unfortunately, is like Mike Malott's never going to be top 15. He had his chance with Neil Magny, got exposed badly. He'll probably just be like top 25. But, nothing special. Moving on. This was a good fight. You called it, man. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking to if you're listening right now. You called it. He was the lock. Marc-Andre Barriault versus Dustin Stolfus. I thought Barriault was just going to be able to use his boxing, pressure, and beat Dustin Stolfus via decision. Completely got that wrong. I want to say it was within 30 seconds, 45 seconds, Stolfus got Marc-Andre Barriault down. Eventually, Barriault was able to scramble up to his feet, and they got into a clinch position. As the commentary is saying, this is where Barriault's dangerous. He gets knocked out. Barriault, to be fair, he did land some good strikes, but he got hurt and then knocked out cold. Woke back up within a couple of seconds, but there wasn't much to say. Got out grappled. Then knocked out. I mean, good bounce back win for Stolfus. Because I think he was on a 2-fight losing streak before that, maybe. If I remember correctly. Not much to say about it. It seemed like before this fight, he had a good solid chin on him. Got cracked here. He might not be the same. He's getting older. I think he's like 34, 35 years old. Getting older. Yeah, I know he's in the middleweight division, so it's a little bit, the higher weight classes, they can go a little longer. But I think this might be the beginning of the end for the power bar. Moving up the card. Ariane Da Silva versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Man, got another one wrong. I gave Da Silva the first round. I thought she landed the better shots over Jasudavicius. Second round, Jasudavicius gets her down. Just landing brutal ground and pound. 10-8 round. I believe all three judges scored at 10-8. I scored it at 10-8 round. And then ends up in the third round kind of doing the same, getting her down, getting that submission. I can't remember if it was it a Darce or an Anaconda? I have the UFC. What was it? Let's scroll till we find it because I want to know. It was a Darce choke. I couldn't remember. I knew it was a Darce or an Anaconda. Couldn't remember which one it was. It was. I had it one. Or I guess it wouldn't have mattered. She got a 10-8 in the second round. She needs to work on her wrestling ability and takedown defense. Da Silva, that is. Yeah, there's really not much to say about it. Got absolutely mauled outside of the first round. Moving up. Kyle Machado versus Brenderson Ribeiro. This was almost a robbery, in my opinion. I am going to pull up. I have the UFC's shit pulled up here. Pull up the scorecard here. This pisses me off. I think Mike Bell had the perfect scorecard. I guess also Sal D'Amato as well. Thomas Collins. I don't know what it is. You have these judges where I've never heard of them before. What the fuck's this weird shit going on over here? Never heard of them before, and they're usually the ones that have the weird scorecards. I clearly scored rounds 1 and 2 for Brenderson Ribeiro. I don't know what this guy was watching right here. Thomas Collins. No clue what he was watching. I don't know how he scored the second round for Kyle Machado. I thought it was a clear Ribeiro second round. The third round I did score for Kyle Machado. You could tell that he thought he was down. He was really going for it in the third round. Looked a little bit fresher than Ribeiro. Not by much, though. Sometimes I'm curious on these strike numbers. Who knows if they're accurate? Probably not. But yeah, I thought it was clear rounds 1 and 2 for Ribeiro. Don't see how you could score the second round for Machado. Again, with these judges, we need to have more clear-cut criteria for these judges and implement better training for these judges so that we don't have messed up, like in the Armfield fight, where the wrong person wins. It's going to ruin, if one more judge would have solved this the other way, takes money away from Ribeiro. So again, I should have saw this coming. But anyway, Machado's garbage. Probably should be cut from the UFC. Moving on, co-main event. Aaron Blanchfield versus Rose Namajunas. This was actually a pretty good fight, honestly. First and second round, Rose clearly outstriking Aaron Blanchfield. Aaron Blanchfield looks garbage on the feet. Kind of throughout the whole fight. But in the first and second round, Rose was just piecing her up on the feet. She looked a little bit better in rounds 4 and 5 in the striking, Blanchfield did, but I think that's because Rose was tired from the grappling in the third round. Third round, Rose kind of goes for a takedown, gets reversed, and Blanchfield gets her down and just smashes her with ground and pound. Nothing super heavy, but good damage. Good damaging shots. And you could kind of tell after the third round, the tide kind of shifting into Blanchfield. She looked a little fresher than Namajunas did. I don't know what happened to Rose. I think it's that she shifted away from working with Trevor Whitman. But to be fair, wasn't Whitman her coach when she lost to Esparza the last time? I can't remember if it was Whitman or Pat Barry. Pat Barry's a terrible coach. I think so. I think she was with Whitman then. So I don't know. I think Whitman's definitely a better coach than Pat Barry, but it's like almost in the fourth and fifth round, Rose just couldn't get her striking off. Blanchfield was just rushing in. In the grappling exchanges they did have, she was able to out-grapple her. And I believe it was the fifth round, Rose even panic shot a couple of times. She was kind of getting clipped up on the feet. And she just really didn't have much to offer for the fourth and fifth round. She kind of looked defeated, if I'm being honest. Like in the first and second round, I was like, oh, Namajunas has got this. And then even in the third round, before she shot him for that takedown, I'm like, here we go. Rose is going to win this. If this was a 3-round fight, Rose wins this. I don't know why this fight was 5 rounds. I think it was because originally this was the main event. And then they had Moreno and Albazi put in. So this just got moved to co-main, but stayed 5 rounds. Would have loved if it was 3 rounds because I'd got my pick right. But nonetheless, it's hard to tell where Blanchfield goes from here. She's gotten solid bounce back win. This is a great win. Rose Namajunas is a good win. But I don't really see Blanchfield being a man on floor. It's close if she beats Shevchenko. I could see her. She called out Grasso. That's a great fight. That's who I think she should fight next. I could see her beating. I think she'll be able to beat Grasso quite easily. By out-grappling her. She showed in her last fight that she can be out-grappled. Just don't let her take your back. We'll leave that at that. So good win for Blanchfield. We'll love the Grasso fight next for. Moving on, main event. Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. Complete domination for Brandon Moreno. I had it all 5 rounds, Brandon Moreno. You could give, I think it was the 4th round. Let's see what the judges actually did. I believe I was thinking maybe the 4th round you could have gave to, Amir Albazi. Okay, the one judge gave Amir Albazi the 1st round. Maybe I have to go back and rewatch it. For some reason, I was thinking maybe the fourth round you could have gave Albazi, but I'm just remembering stuff incorrectly. Because I remember after watching that fourth round, I'm like, he might have edged it out. But Albazi couldn't get his grappling going. I think he got Moreno down for like a second, and Moreno just scooted his ass right out of it. Moreno was just piecing him up on the feet. Albazi did land some decent shots throughout the fight, but Moreno hurt him badly a couple of times. One time with a head kick. He's got good kicks, Moreno does. Hurt him badly with a head kick. You could tell he really wanted to go for the finish, but he didn't want to, he's a former two-time champion, so he knows not to blow his load going for the finish when he isn't 100% sure if he's got it. And then I can't remember if it was the fourth or fifth round, he hurt Albazi pretty bad. And then there's like, in the fifth round, you got like 10, 15 seconds left. Maybe it was 30. And Albazi does the Max Holloway points, edges him on, and then Moreno pieces him up. That was kind of funny. But very good, dominant performance for Brandon Moreno. A lot of people counting Brandon Moreno out. I don't know why. He was the favorite. A lot of people I saw were picking Amir Albazi. I couldn't pick him off that long layoff and knowing the physical problems that he had. So, definitely Albazi's top 5. But I don't know what's next for Brandon Moreno. I think Royval definitely deserves the next title shot, especially if Pantoja wins. They both have, I think Moreno's lost to Pantoja more than Royval has. So I definitely see Royval getting the title shot over Moreno if that were the case. Even if it weren't the case, if Kyle Sakara wins, I think Royval deserves it more than Moreno because he's got 2 wins. Moreno only has the 1. So great fight, really good main event. What did you guys think of the main event? And what do you think can be done about these atrocious judges? What can they do? I don't know. Maybe I'll make a video about it. Maybe I'll make a little list, something about what could be done about the judging. I don't know. Anyway, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, drop a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.